Wall Street is trading quietly while investors are looking for clues to shape market sentiment. Meanwhile, the crypto market is going through a perfect storm. The US Securities and Exchange Commission sparked off a standoff between regulators and the risky assets. As expected, the US stock market opened a new trading week with a cautious pessimism. No wonder the benchmark stock indexes retreated from a multi-month highs. The Dow Jones fell 0.59%. The Nasdaq shed a modest 0.09%. The S&P 500 edged down by 0.2%. to close at 4,273 points. The major indexes traded slightly lower in the New York pre-market. The S&P 500 is expected to trade in the intraday corridor between 4,210 and 4,290 points. Wall Street traded quietly on a Monday, digesting red-hot economic data and applying them to the nearest Fed's decision on the interest rates. Investors increased expectations for a pause in the rate hikes because the Institute for Supply Management proved that the U.S. service sector stagnated in May amid a slower growth in EU factory orders. As a result, prices paid by suppliers for raw materials hit a three-year low. In theory, this could help the US Fed in its fight against high inflation. Bad news for the economy is currently viewed as a positive by stock investors because it increases the likelihood that the Federal Reserve will halt a series of aggressive rate hikes. So the fresh ISM report assured investors to reassess the Fed's agenda. According to the Fed Watch tool, traders estimate there is almost an 80% chance that the Fed will put interest rates on a hold at its meeting next week, although they expect another rate hike in July. As for corporate news, Apple stocks were in the spotlight again. They fell by 0.8% after the world's most valuable company introduced the Vision Pro augmented reality headset, its biggest and riskier bet since the iPhone was released. Earlier, Apple shares rose by 2.2% to an all-time high, and the Vision Pro will start at $3,499, more than 3 times the cost of the most expensive headset in the Meta mixed and virtual reality device lineup. Other heavy white growth stocks traded mixed. Nvidia shares shed 0.4%, losing some of its recent gains. Tesla shares climbed by 1.7% after electric vehicle sales in China jumped in May. Shares of large U.S. banks declined after the Wall Street Journal reported that U.S. regulators are preparing to tighten rules on the large banks, which could include raising the capital requirements by an average of 20%. Of the 11 S&P 500 industry indexes, 7 declined, led by the industrial sector, which slipped by 0.71%, followed by a 0.58% loss in energy. Futures on Wall Street on a Tuesday remained virtually unchanged, reflecting a lull in the information field. Wall Street seems to have already digested everything it could and is now just waiting for a clearer signal from inflation data, which is due next week before the Fed meeting. Consumer prices are likely to have declined slightly in May from a month ago, but core inflation is expected to remain unchanged. Last week, Fed officials argued that at the June meeting, the central bank would keep rates unchanged and look the additional factors to decide whether the economy is actually cooling or a rate hike is a must-do. However, the Reserve Bank of Australia surprised the market today. It raised interest rates by a quarter percentage point today to an 11-year high and warned that further tightening may be needed to bring inflation down to its target. At the same time, the stock and bond markets remained calm. Futures on the S&P 500 are trading virtually unchanged after a mixed start to the week. In the corporate sector, Coinbase Securities were in the spotlight as the US Securities and Exchange Commission skewed America's largest crypto asset trading platform a day after it also sued Binance. As a result, Coinbase shares tumbled by 13% before the opening bell. Apple shares lost 0.5% after hitting a record high in the previous session. Advanced micro devices rose by 1.8% after Piper Sandler raised its share price target to $250, the second highest on Wall Street. Shares in oil companies such as ExxonMobil and Chevron were down about 1% each as crude oil prices fell by about 2%. Amid worries about the global demand. The US dollar recovered on Monday to the highest levels in 2 months, having climbed by 0.2% intraday. Its index is now trading at 104.30, and the intraday Canada for the index is seen between 103.90 and 104.60. The unexpected rate hike by the Reserve Bank of Australia made investors allow for other surprise decisions by major central banks. And the recent economic data and the Fed's rhetoric triggered a high volatility of the US company and US currency. Its index rose to 104.30 after a few volatile sessions. Later on, the index sank after comments from some Fed officials on a possible breather. Despite the mixed non-farm payrolls, investors believe that the Fed is likely to hit a pause button to assess the impact of monetary tightening on the US economy. The US dollar is expected to trade sluggishly amid the empty economic calendar for the rest of the week and the silent period before the Fed's meeting. The Canadian dollar is trading steadily despite the US dollar's recovery and another fall in oil prices. The USD CAD pair inched up by 0.1% to trade at 1.3440. The intraday Canada for the pair is seen between 134 and 1.3470. The instrument is likely to consolidate in this range until the policy meeting of the Bank of Canada, and the Canadian regulator was the first to suspend the campaign of rate hikes in January. Strong economic data is challenging its decision to keep interest rates unchanged. Market participants see a 45% chance of a rate hike by 25 basis points at the Bank of Canada's meeting on Wednesday. As for oil prices, both benchmark rates resumed their decline today, and Brent crude futures dropped by 1.7% to trade at $75.40 a barrel. WTI futures slipped by 1.9% to trade at $70.79. The crypto market is going through turmoil. Bitcoin is consolidating today following yesterday's plunge of more than 5%, the worst slump since April 19, and the flagship crypto recovered to $25,723 after the news on a lawsuit by the Securities and Exchange Commission against Coinbase. The token declined below $25,500. Popular coins are also trading in the red. Ethereum is the only token to show a 0.02% uptick. Bitcoin's attempts to recover after 5% collapse to 3 months lows on a Monday fell today, and the US Securities and Exchange Commission on Tuesday filed a lawsuit against Coinbase and the largest US platform for trading crypto assets, accusing it of illegal activities without prior registration with the regulator. The accusations are similar to those brought by the regulator on a Monday to Binance and its CEO, In the 13 allegations, the Commission alleges that Bitcoin artificially inflated its trading volumes, divided client funds, failed to restrict US clients from accessing its platform, and misled investors about market control. The lawsuit, which mentions a number of practices, marks the most significant move against the crypto company by the Commission in its massive crackdown on the industry this year. In a statement on Monday, Binance said it was cooperating with the Commission investigations and worked diligently to answer their questions and resolve their concerns, including attempts to settle the matter, and we intend to vigorously defend our platform, the blog says. However, investors still withdrew about $790 million from the exchange and its US subsidiary in the past 24 hours. Binance recorded a net outflow of $778.6 million in tokens on the Ethereum blockchain, while its US affiliate Binance.US registered a net outflow of $13 million. Binance BNB, the world's world's largest crypto trading platform, fell by 1.3% to nearly 3 months low of $273 after a 9.2% plunge on Monday. Bitcoin and Ether were not mentioned in the lawsuit, but the tokens also incurred heavy losses. Speaking of Bitcoin's intraday outlook, it stabilized at $25,400 and $25,900. A breakout of the lower border could push the price down to $24,700, while a breakout of the upper border will push the token up to $26,200. Thank you for watching. We closely monitor the markets and provide you with the up-to-date financial information and analysis. We are waiting for your questions and comments. Subscribe to our channel and see you online tomorrow.